Ooh, I can hear pin drops.
Yeah. I'm on the podcast with you over here. I'll be the voice from the netherworlds. Man behind the curtain.
And so everybody else can hear you as well?
Yeah.
Geez, that's weird hearing yourself.
Oh, yeah. It's more for the mic. So if you get closer or...
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. you got a nice voice, man. How's work on? Busy?
Flat out.
Yeah?
Yeah, flat out. I realised that I was missing doing support work and being hands-on myself.
Oh.
Yeah, so I decided to go back on the tools, as you say, and I'm doing about 23 hours of support work now, plus doing everything that I usually do. So I'm just
You're
cooked
pumping
at the moment. Just
Yeah, I've been
absolutely
seeing it. I
pumped.
was having a look at some stuff you've been uploading. Very interesting people you have there, man. Everyone
Absolutely.
looks like they're in a different war.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? You never know what people are going through right there.
yeah.
Does it sometimes hit you? Like, surely they come up to you with their problems and stuff, man. Like,
The biggest thing I get is, I saw a video you did. I get this every day.
Wow.
That video you did last night, I thought you were talking about me. I get that all the time. And then it's really easy to leverage off that.
Yeah.
And bring up the conversation around that.
they don't like it?
No, they love it.
Wow.
Yeah, they all love it.
Do you reckon they want to kind of share their stories? Is that what it is? Or they want to be heard?
Everyone just wants to be heard. I think everybody wants to be heard.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We all got that story in us that just wants the whole world to kind of see.
Yeah. Like in counselling, all it is being heard. You know,
Yeah, you're right.
You're sitting
Right.
there and you get taught active listening, how to hold space for somebody. They reckon 80% of healing is the therapeutic relationship.
Wow.
That's all it is.
Kind of creating a relationship.
Yep.
The only,
80%.
the only problem I don't like about seeing psychologists or counsellors, when it comes to the end of the session, you can feel it, like they don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh, yep, all done now. You know, I'll see you next week.
Yeah, I hear that. I do hear that sometimes from
That's
a lot
where
of
the
people.
disconnection happens.
Yeah. It's hard because you've got to have boundaries, you know. So a lot of people, if you aren't sort of stern like that, and have that boundary, they would stay there all day
Yeah, you're right.
and
Yeah.
talk to you.
Yeah,
you know?
and they would stop.
There's certain people that would be like yourself. I'm sure you'd be like, "Cool, the hour's up. I get it. That's time to go."
Yeah.
But there's other people that don't understand that,
And they keep going.
and they would just be quite happy to sit there and keep talking and talking and talking.
I think because
all
they're
the time.
comfortable.
No, they're comfortable, and they just, I don't know whether they pick. How do you say it? Whether you pick up the cues that it's time to go, that they might, that you know, as a therapist, that you've got something else on, or because
Yeah.
they don't have much going on in their lives,
Yeah.
so they don't respect sort of anybody else's time. Well, not that they don't respect other people's time, they don't notice what other people's time is about.
The
Yeah.
world doesn't revolve around you, Ahmed. You know.
That's the one, Davey.
These people have things to do. You know.
You're waging war,
I have
Davey.
to listen to you all day. You know.
So, for like prime example, I don't give my phone number out anymore.
Okay.
We went and got a work phone very fast because you're like, I'm not available after these times.
You're very right.
And then you just get message after message after message after phone call after phone call, all hours, 3 o'clock or 4
It's
o'clock.
actually
in the
smart
morning.
idea, man.
Yeah, you have to, because other people, like I said, it might not be that they're doing it intentionally, they're just not thinking about it.
Yeah. And all of a sudden they're calling you at 10 at night.
Yep.
You know, I keep blocking Ahmed's phone, but he keeps buying new phone numbers. You know, so just keeps finding me.
Davey, you're getting me.
Keeps dragging me back. You know.
You know what the funny thing is? I have to do that now as well. Like I talk to my work, like, because we've all been mates from that for a while. It's so easy at 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night to have an idea.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I'm just going to message.
Yeah.
And then go, shit, I've just disturbed him on his private time. And I haven't thought about it, you know?
Yeah.
So we've made a rule lately that any ideas or anything like that has to go through the email.
Oh,
and you
yeah.
know you don't answer email till you're back on work hours.
Yeah.
The group chats, that's for, you know, that's for fun, that's for being mates and all that. Emails now, that's all work.
It never works with my people. I'm copying phone calls at 1 in the morning, 11 at night. Doesn't work. Please don't disturb me. No, you're still copying a phone call. And you're not copying one phone call, you're copying 10 after one another. Bang, 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 bang. And then you're copying a message.
Yeah.
And if they can't get through to you on the phone, they're calling you on Snapchat.
Yep.
And then Instagram. It's like,
Yep.
you know what I mean? It's
Yep.
never ending. Does it?
I feel like people answer the phone less nowadays as well. Like they don't answer the phone.
You're very right.
You know?
If you can call me, you can message me. All right.
Yeah.
I would much prefer a message.
Yeah.
I'm so busy that
Yeah.
when I get back and I've got missed calls, I'm like,
Yeah.
because I know this is going to eat up time.
It does.
You know.
And then some phone calls go for 15, 20 minutes. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And it never ends.
Well, I'm like, if you can message me and say, this is the issue, give me a response and that. And then again, like if I don't know how to respond at the time, then like maybe it's a question regarding work or something like that on how to do something like, then it gives me time. I can go read up the policy, the procedure or the law or whatever it is and be like, yeah, okay, this is how we respond.
You know, I want to touch on what you said. I think people are just less social.
Well, I think it's an anxiety now around phones,
Yeah.
around answering the phone. People are scared to answer the phone. They have anxiety about that, you know? And honestly, I think that's come
crazy.
from COVID. It's come from lots of different things, right? And now we can just message each other. We don't have to hear each other's voices, which seems terrifying nowadays, you know, for some reason. And yeah, I find that a lot, you know, even in business.
Yeah.
Like I run my own business and like I call people and just, nobody answers.
Yeah.
Even if I've never called them before, they just won't answer the phone. You go, this is really weird,
Yeah.
you know? Like
That's
it's
crazy.
changed.
If I don't know the number, I won't answer it.
I'm pretty like that as well.
Yep. I'm like, message me. Like if you call, I don't answer. If you shoot me a message, I'll call you back.
Yeah.
But there's so many scams now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like
It's crazy.
telemarketers every day.
Yeah.
Every day. So I just don't answer them.
I just copped a phone call before, apparently on behalf of LinkedIn. It's asking all these questions. Where do you live? What's your mother's name? What's your... So what? Man, you're a scam. Go away. They're everywhere, man. It's
Yep.
full of them.
Yep.
Emails, messages, tax. Have you been getting the tax ones?
Yeah, you've been getting the tax. Yeah.
I wonder how much people they're getting, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've had a couple of guys like from the gym will get scammed lately, two different scams with bank accounts.
wow.
Yeah. They getting their super information somewhere and doing something with the bank account and actually working out how to get credit cards or something from it. Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
The scam world's getting pretty wild.
Absolutely.
The criminals out there that are dealing with it, they're making money and they're being smart about it.
Yeah.
But I think there's always going to be cracks. I don't think they can ever eliminate that problem.
No way. There's too many guys with really vivid imaginations and
Yeah.
skills that I just could not dream of. Like half
Yeah.
the stuff they come up with, there's no way I could even think of it.
There's that whole fine thing. Like they remove demerit points and fines. How are you doing that, man?
Yeah.
It's crazy. You surely know someone that works at freaking Vic Roads.
Yeah.
How are you getting rid of these fines?
And it's the younger generation now that are amazing at computers. I'm still like, I struggle to, do certain things in emails. I'm terrible. And I actually said to the HR manager and that, as we're getting really busy, I was like, it's time you start teaching me so I can help out a little bit. And he was like, no.
You'll slow us down.
He goes, we'll hire somebody else, but we're not training you up to do that.
It's actually crazy. You are right, man. Like I sometimes sit on my phone and my sister's 18, she'll come and she'll say, no, you do it this way on my iPhone. It's like, oh, yeah, you do it for me then.
Yeah.
They know so much more than what we know.
Yeah.
And we experienced firsthand the iPhones.
Yeah.
But they're just too ahead. All these children too ahead, man.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Now with AI as well, like it's even faster. On that scam thing, now what they're doing, so you like this one, Ahmad, they'll call someone, copy their voice, record their voice,
Wow.
copy it, run it through AI, and then call their mum, find their mum's number, and then say, oh, he's been in an accident, needs money sent here.
Oh.
Like now with AI, you can literally trick anyone into anything, video and audio, everything,
That's crazy.
I don't know how I sit with AI. How do you sit?
What's your opinion on it? You tell me first. Let's hear it.
I don't know.
Go full blown about it.
So I was like, I'm never going to use AI. I was the last out of all of my friends to have social media. But when I was
Really?
traveling overseas, kickboxing and stuff like that, I was like, I started meeting all these guys and we're just corresponding through email. We they even had mobile phones back then.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, well, I'm going to have to get it just so I can maintain friendships with all my mates overseas that I met. And then now AI come out, I had a similar sort of feeling about it. I was like, I'm not going to use it. But then Dennis from that rehab's like, you just got to play with it and it learns to talk like you.
He loves AI, man.
Loves it.
He loves it.
So I was like, all right, I'll give it a play. So I started playing with it and I was like, what's a good hook? What's a good reel or something like that? Just playing it out. And I found after playing with it for a couple of days, when I went to think for myself, I was slower.
Wow.
I was like, okay, now I've got to think of a video to do. My first instinct was, I'll go to the computer and ask Copilot what's a good idea for a reel today. I was like, I'm done. That was like after 4 days of playing with it.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's pretty dangerous. I don't know where it's headed. I think there's good of it, but the bad overcomes the good, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because it's making us think less.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
It's it's artificial intelligence, right? So
Yeah.
it's supposed to be more intelligent than us.
and it only gets smart over time.
Yeah.
It gets really, really smart over time.
Yeah.
I don't know where it's headed, man. It's scary times.
There's a lot of people out there now getting counselling on it.
What?
They're doing their own like counselling, using it as a therapist. It's like a huge trend at the moment.
How dangerous is that, though? I wonder how dangerous that is, man.
Well, here's the thing. Like we said at the start, as a segue, that's a pretty cool segue actually. So the therapeutic relationship is 80% the relationship between the relationship. Why? It's because the therapist is usually pretty grounded, pretty regulated, all this type of stuff. And when we were kids, we didn't learn that off our parents in most cases.
Yeah.
They had parents that couldn't regulate themselves, parents that were a bit emotionally just disconnected and all that sort of stuff. So for the first time in your life, your therapist, you're mirroring off them. Okay, so that's how we learn to emotionally regulate.
Yeah, that's right.
If you look at a kid, when they fall over, what's the first thing they do? They look up at the adult. Do I cry? Do I not cry?
You're right.
If you go, oh my God, you've just fallen over, have a
crying.
cry
Yeah.
straight away. But if you're like, get up, mate, you'll be right.
You're so right on
They
that.
dust themselves because they learn to mirror off us.
That's so right. I've seen that a few times where they'll fall over and they'll just look and they'll wait for the response.
Yep.
Very true.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's how we sort of learn to mirror. So when we're going through this counselling session or whatever, we're learning to regulate our emotions off a counsellor who's sitting there really regulated, holding space, letting you talk. You're learning, oh, I don't have to fill the space, or I can fill the space. I don't have to be in a rush. I can be regulated. With the ChatGPT, you don't get that. And that's 80% of the counselling session. You might be getting the head knowledge,
But you're not getting that feeling, that attachment, the
you're
relationship.
You're not learning to regulate. You're not mirroring somebody that knows how to do that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's gone to that level, man.
Yeah, so always say you can't outthink a feeling problem. So with chat, okay, you can get some head knowledge. You can work your way through some stuff. You can figure stuff out. But that's what that's why most of people through trauma are overthinkers, because that's what's happened. So, okay, yeah. So something's happened in childhood, and instead of feeling it in your body, you've gone, that shit's too painful. I'm just going to cut off here, and I'm not going to feel it anymore, and I'm going to become an overthinker instead and try and outthink all of my problems, try and outthink all of my emotions.
That's
And
wild.
the problem is you can't.
You can't, nah.
And the whole thing is, essentially, I always like to explain it like this. If you think about your brain is like a jellyfish, okay? And then, see up in here, you've got all this nervous system stuff going on, and it all runs down the body and all that, right? So you've got the brain, and you've got all this stuff coming
Tentacles.
down. Tentacles, just chops them off.
Wow.
Yeah, so then you don't have anything going on in your body. It's too painful to feel. That's why we say body keeps a score. You know, all the trauma keeps stored in your body.
It is. That's why it's always with the fists as well.
Yeah. Yep. So, but now we're just overthinking by overthinking. So we're learning stuff on the ChatGPT, but we're not connecting the tentacles back to the brain.
Yeah.
We're not decompartmentalizing all the issues by feeling them. That like the little boxes of trauma that are stored in your brain. We're not opening them up
And having a look into them.
Yeah. So you can only get so far, and people are using it as therapy. It can be a tool. It'd be a great tool, but that's all it is. It's not the therapy.
It's definitely headed in a dangerous place. I just seen the first electric fire brigade. I was like, what? Full blown electric. It looked like a bloody spaceship, man.
Yeah.
And it's like everything I seen in the movies in like the 90s, the flying cars, it's actually, we're headed that way, man.
Yeah.
You know, the weird looking cars, we're just headed that way. It's like, did they predict all this stuff's going to happen? I don't know.
Star Trek predicted everything. You know, you look back at Next Gen from the 90s, you know, they had video calls, they had the holographic images and everything. They predicted everything in the 90s. It was crazy, you know. It's almost like they.
Well, were we meant to have a hoverboard last year?
yeah.
I think that was the year they predicted we were meant to have a hoverboard.
Yeah.
Wow.
You can do that. They can make them. They're just
really?
not very safe. Yeah. I mean, kind of pointless.
Telling you, man, we live in an interesting world.
Definitely.
I don't know where it's headed, but it's headed somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know where, but let's hope it's only good.
Yeah.
Let's get into you.
Yeah.
Tell me about growing up. How was life back then and then evolving into now?
It's funny, I never sort of know full on how to answer that question. It's from outside looking in.
It's two different things.
Lived a great life, grew up. Half my family lived down the coast.
Yep.
Well, they're all surfies. The other half lived out on horse farms and stuff like that, which is where I always liked to be. I hated surfing, but I loved riding horses, and I think I actually love being out in the bush, being alone more than anything, more than I actually liked
I love
the
nature.
horses. It's just a lifestyle.
Yeah, I love nature.
Yeah, and both sides of the family were both totally different too. I guess one side, being the Dutch side, very sort of, I guess you would say, like avoidant attachment style. If you're talking like just as a broad, to get a broad idea of it, there's a big generalisation over the whole side of that family, and then the other side were probably all more anxious attachment style.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was sort of both, and there was some times during childhood where there was like schizophrenia, there was some, some drugs in the family and that sort of stuff. Nothing like super crazy that would seem to an adult now is like anything out of the ordinary.
Yeah, back then it was pretty all normal.
Yeah, but to a kid that was a pretty big thing. And one of the things in my life outside of that, because I never thought of that bothered me, but now that I know a fair bit about trauma, I can see how it would have. But some of the bigger things for me personally growing up is I had a few things which, again, I didn't think as an adult were that big of a deal. But now I know that did. So, for example, I've got a lazy eye.
Okay.
And this all happened around the same sort of, like within a year of each other. All these things happened at once. I could never work out why I couldn't catch a football. All my family big into football, stuff like that, and I couldn't catch a ball to save my life. Cricket ball, anything. I had no depth perception because I had a lazy eye. We didn't know for a while. So then I had flat feet, knocked knees, which meant I wasn't an awesome runner. It wasn't spectacular at that. And because of my eye, I used to write my name backwards and upside down. So I've got on my dad's side, they all call me Yort instead of Troy because they just knew that I used to write it upside down. So I was in and out of the doctors for my legs, then I was in and out for my eye, and I had to wear an eye patch for a fair while.
Wow.
So back then, even though they all seemed sort of trivial, I thought I was stupid. You know what I mean?
So that's where it began.
I was like Raj off The Big Bang Theory. I couldn't talk to a girl until I was like 13 and drunk. Like, could not say a word all through primary school. There's no way I could have talked to a girl. And it's only been in the last, 6 years that I sort of really gone, those things could have actually really affected me.
Yeah.
All these type of, everyone was always sporty back then, always hung around, the Aussies. Back then, it was always like that,
It
all
was
the
fast
Aussies
paced.
stuck together and all that, but it was always like, it was cricket and football, and if you didn't do those things, or if you couldn't do them well, because I tried, I was just no good at all.
It's crazy how one thing can contribute to so many other factors.
Yeah.
Because of an eye, there were so many things you were restricted from.
Yep. Oh, and because so the legs, I couldn't run that well, and back then, I don't know, only some schools did it, not all. I was born left-handed, but some of the schools back then were like, no, you're going to be right-handed, and they would make you learn to.
So they enforced it on you.
So they forced me to write right-handed. So obviously the uptake was a little bit slower than everybody else as well.
That was another disadvantage.
So that was another disadvantage, and again, even through all my years of seeing a psychologist and things like that, these things nearly didn't really come up because we were working on the limiting beliefs, the insecurities, and all of that sort of stuff. But we didn't actually get to those. We just worked on, why I've got them and all that sort of stuff. Well, worked through them so they didn't bother me. But it wasn't until I finished sort of all that I was like, maybe they actually did cause me some problems.
Wow.
Yeah, so I used to love being in the middle of the bush by myself, nothing, just with a horse, So on school holidays, I always used to go out there, which had seemed pretty cool.
Why'd you like it? Is it because you felt peace, or you felt you weren't
Peace,
judged?
yeah, peace, no, not getting judged, all that sort of stuff.
Not making mistakes in front of others as well.
That was a huge thing for me. Or so it's like when people start a job when you're young, right? When the bosses goes, okay, go do that job, and you're like, yep, no worries, I got it. And then the boss walks off, and you're like, what the hell did he say to do?
Oh, I've been there. Yeah, I feel that one.
Yeah. Instead of saying, sorry, I didn't completely understand it because you didn't want to look stupid, and then what happens? You go and you can't do the job, and then you look stupid.
Yeah.
You know, it
Or
becomes
you got to ask him again.
Yeah, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, you know, of not wanting to look stupid, which makes you look stupid.
Yeah.
You know, so I spent years and years going through all these patterns of behaviour and all of that. And because I guess I was sort of split, I never really fit into any sort of groups. Always did martial arts, though. That's one thing that I've always done all my life and maintained forever. I started when I was 6 and
Which sport?
Bruce Lee. I did karate to
Yep.
start with, Koerntjes to start, and then I moved on to other styles, but that was the main style. And even though I just did that on and off for like 4 years, even now, if I go and do a karate now, like a karate class, I can still do all the basics, still do all the blocks and everything. That really sticks with you.
Yeah, it's a memory.
It really is, yeah. And I think that, well, Bruce Lee was huge back then. So, you know, and because I was low in confidence, no self-esteem, I went and did karate. And that really didn't help. No, not really. It's like a false sense of security until someone puts it on you.
Yeah,
you know?
and then you're in your
Especially
place.
at that age, yeah.
And everything you built just goes back down.
Yeah, pretty much. And then you're like, wow, I've learnt all this stuff and I didn't even have the guts to use it. And that's because you still haven't worked on that self-esteem or on any of those insecurities.
It's like Mike Tyson said, everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face. Right?
Yeah. Sports is very interesting. I feel like it can help, but it can sometimes really affect you on a whole different level.
Yeah.
Especially like mixed martial arts, boxing, karate, kickboxing, because it brings out an aggressive side of you.
Yeah.
And if you know how to control it,
Yeah.
you're going down pretty bloody quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
But isn't that what martial arts are for, though, as well? Like kind of controlling those emotions and that anger and stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, from your experience, I imagine. Many years of martial arts, right?
We're just the fools. We just don't know how to control it. That's the problem. You know what I mean? We don't know how to control it.
You did
at all.
boxing, though. That's not,
Yeah.
not the same as martial arts. Yeah.
Boxing's on a whole different level, man. It's an interesting sport, but it's a very dangerous sport. You know, we're getting hit after, like, non-stop, bang, bang, bang. You got UFC, you get knocked out, done. Boxing, you're getting back up and you're getting hit and hit and hit.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting. I think sports is important for youth as well.
Yeah.
If you've got mental problems, I highly suggest community sports, soccer, footy,
Yeah.
because then you can socialise.
Absolutely.
Boxing is a lonely sport, man. You're so lonely when you're in there.
Half of the problems that people have mentally is they don't have connection. And usually if they don't have connection, they probably don't have a physical practice as well. So one of the first things I always say is, go do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Or something like that. You know, go do a sport where you're forced to be around people. And jiu-jitsu is a good one as any, because it's like a little cult.
Yeah.
You know, you get in, all of a sudden, everyone's best mates, and
Yeah,
you're all
everyone's
doing
like-
stuff. You're all having barbecues at each other's houses. You know,
Yeah.
it becomes a thing. You know, you can go to a boxing gym and then go home.
Yeah, it's very interesting. BJJ is pretty. It's one of I highly suggest it for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's a bloody good sport.
Yeah.
And if you're good at it, you're dangerous.
You train?
I do boxing.
Yeah.
I've been boxing for about 16 years.
You've never gone and had a crack at jiu-jitsu?
I got terrorised, never went back. I went to see my mate, and he's like, oh, I was like, all right, let's wrestle a little bit, man. We didn't. Within 30 seconds, man, you got him in a headlock, and I couldn't get out. I was like, stuff this, man. I got impatient.
The wrestling is on a different level.
Whole different level, man.
I did wrestling in India, and I just got mauled. Mauled.
Yeah.
Absolutely mauled.
And you're a pretty big boy.
Well, when I got to this place, it was so we get there, totally off topic, but so we arrive in India and they're like, yep, we're going to go do wrestling, and I was like, sweet. So we rock up to this place and they got the big mat, you know, it's all blue, it's got the circle on it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Olympic wrestling, sweet. And they're telling me that Indians actually invented wrestling. And I was like, okay. Everyone else just sort of stole it. That's what they're telling me. I don't know if that's true or not.
Pretty sure it was the Greek, but you know.
They reckon Greeks stole it off them.
Really?
Yeah, that's what they said. So, and I'm like, well, this is cool. Everyone's putting on their red and blue leotards and all that. And I'm like, oh, yeah, mad. They're like, you're not in there today. I'm like, okay, where am I? They're like, come out the back. This is where all the kids train.
Oh,
like,
you're going to get your head smashed now, man.
I'm like, okay. So we go out the back and there's this big square mud pit. It's huge. And there's a guy that looks like a gorilla with a huge rope around his head that's tied to a massive log.
Oh,
and he's walking up and down this mud pit, flattening out all the mud, and he's wearing this tiny little pair of underwear that looks like a handkerchief that's all just folded up.
You're definitely getting your head smashed now, Troy.
Yeah, and I'm like, what have I got myself into?
He was 12 years old.
So the coach comes up to me, and he is a little dude, and he's walking around with this huge stick, right? And then all the dudes are starting to rock in, and basically they all just start training. So you've got a group over here doing burpees, and then a group over here, there's 2 ropes, and they're going up and down the ropes in this tree. That's all they're doing. And nobody's like stopped and standing around talking and all that.
Just straight to it.
As soon as anybody stops, that stick, they get a smack straight across the legs, right? So, and they train for 4 hours. You're either doing burpees or you're going up and down this rope. And they take me into this room. This whole room is full of trophies, like just wall to wall. This whole room is just full of trophies. And we come out and they're like, have you ever done wrestling before? I said, I've done Muay Thai, I've done boxing, I've done a tiny little bit of jiu-jitsu and a little bit of karate and that. And they're like, you'll be fine. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, you're going to fight today? And I was like, what?
Where'd you get fighting from?
Yeah, and they're like, you'll be fine, you'll be fine. I said, I've never done wrestling before. I was like, Muay Thai, boxing, yeah, cool. I've never done wrestling. I said, can you show me a few things and that? It'll be fun because I was going around the world to just doing traditional martial arts in their traditional countries.
That's pretty cool.
So I did 27 countries and 27 different martial arts. It was really, really cool.
Wow.
But this one was just because of everything that happened, it was really memorable. And so they're like, I was like, okay, well, I'm here. I might as well get the experience. And I was like, so who's the first one? They're like, 97 kilo Olympic champion.
You're definitely getting balls.
I was like, okay, no worries. And I was like, just so you know, I'm never supposed to have trained again. I was never meant to lift over 2 kilos again. I can't, walk properly and all this sort of stuff. I'm pretty damaged.
That ain't care.
So, and they're like, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. I'm like, all right. So anyway, everyone's stripped off. Everyone's wearing their little underwear. And there's a video on my TikTok about it. You can watch it.
I gotta say this, man.
So I'm thinking to myself, and 97 kilos like lean, he's a monster.
Yeah.
I said to the guy, where are all the little Indians, man? I was like, everyone here's huge. Back home, everyone's real small. And he goes, there's the Punjabi boys. These are all farm boys. And I'm like, okay. So we get out in the mud pit, and I'm thinking to myself in my head, I can clinch okay. I'm just going to rush him, make him stand up straight, and get some underhooks and try and clinch.
Yeah.
And that'll do me. I forgot that with wrestling, they can drop to their knees, they can do all sorts of stuff.
Shoot.
So I ran at him, and he's dropped to one knee, basically like ankle picked me and threw me upside down. You can hear my missus in the camera going, he's injured, what about his back? And I just fly upside down, hit the dirt. And in my head, I'm like, what the hell was that? Like turning around to try and grab his legs. And they're like, no, you can't. This is wrestling. And I was like, oh, yeah, cool. He smashed me for about a whole round, and everybody was just standing there laughing and clapping on. Like, I think it was like, let's beat up the big white boy, it'll be fun sort
He's
of thing.
coming out with today.
Yeah. And then they're like, are you done? And I was like, I can't say I'm done. They're all standing around watching me, and they're testing me, So I was like, okay, I'll go again. And they're like, okay, we'll give you somebody different, somebody a bit smaller. And I said, no worries. And they're like, this is the 86 kilo Asian champion. Oh. And I was like, great.
We're going to get mauled again.
He smashed me for another round. And I walked out of there going, I've got to go home and do some wrestling. This is ridiculous.
Yeah. There's some freaks out there, man, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
There's some freaks out there. When I went over to America to train boxing, whole different ballgame, man.
Yeah.
They're like real deal freaks. Like they're so disciplined on what they do. They're hardcore.
Yeah.
All they know is just sleep training, nothing else.
Yeah.
And we got, kids here that wake up and they're on video games and TikTok and, I might as well miss training today. I didn't have any of that back in my days, man.
Yeah.
It was just discipline.
Do you think that there's a massive difference between the levels in boxing between Australia and America because of the way they're brought up? Like they can box in high school, can't they?
Yeah.
And like that can be actually part of their curriculum.
Big difference.
Yeah.
Big difference.
And they get sponsored like real early.
Sponsored. They got better trainers, more facilities. It's more open. Boxing's massive in America and the UK.
Yeah.
It's not so big in Australia. And I just feel like some of us Australians are a bit lazy, man.
Yeah.
When you got a person growing up in the hood in America, you can't be lazy. You can't afford to be lazy.
Yeah.
You can't afford to just chill and do nothing. Here you can. You just jump on a ceiling and you're getting paid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You're being
absolutely.
looked after.
Yeah.
And that's what I find interesting. Sometimes I remember I was driving up to Boys last time and we seen a few homeless around. And one of my mates asked me a question. He was like, do you reckon they choose to be like that? And I couldn't find an answer. Because Australia gives so much resources.
Yeah.
You got Centrelink, there's so much backup to it. What do you reckon, Joy? Do you reckon some of these people choose to be like this or they're just mentally just completely gone?
They're enabled. So in my line of work, that we're supposed to help support people to do things, but what most of the industry does is enable them, and it breeds codependency. So instead of prime example, we had a participant stop working with us because we wouldn't clean their house for them, and their support coordinator called and was like, you've got to do this and do that. And I was like, we're support workers. We're not doing for them workers.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, I'm happy to get my support worker to help encouraging them to clean, and they will assist them to clean.
Yeah.
Because we're there to build capacity in all these people. But the problem is the industry, everybody just is a babysitter at the moment.
Yeah.
And nobody's getting pushed. So if you want to just have somebody to come and do stuff for you and you just want to mill about, don't come to my company.
Yeah.
Because my guys will push you. And that is a massive problem in the industry at the moment. There's a fine line between support and enabling. And I mean, if you're getting everything you want, you're getting things done for you,
You're not
hand on
progressing.
foot, there's no need to progress.
Yeah. You might as well just chill. And for the listeners out there that don't know, tell me about your company that you run.
Yeah, so I've got two, well, sort of three. So I've got Complete Health Geelong. So after I went through all of my stuff and, changed my life around and went back to school and all that sort of thing, I went through a heap of change and I could not find everything that I wanted in the one place. So I had to pinch for a bit from here, bit from here, bit from here. And I was like, I want to make that easier on other people. So
Is that it there? Is this the one?
that's it there,
That's
yeah.
the one. That's the website.
So I thought I would take everything that I'd learned and put it all into one place and just make it easy to find. So that's how we come up with the name Complete Health Geelong.
What led you to Complete Health? Like, where was the turning point? So I know we'll go back a little bit. Let's say the age of 20 now. Who's Troy at 20? How was life there?
I always said I had about 20 midlife crises by the time I was 25.
Bloody hell.
Every single time I had a midlife crisis, I just went to Thailand.
Wow. And just train?
Just trained.
Yeah.
Just trained.
What do you feel like was the difficult age for you? Where you feel like shit really started to get really heavy?
Probably any time under 25.
Wow.
Yeah, the whole time
They were
under
the
25.
darkest times.
Yeah, didn't fit in, hated life. When people used to say, these are going to be the best days of your life, you need to live these days. And I'd be thinking, I freaking hope not.
Wow.
I hope these aren't the best days of my life because
That dark.
these days are shit. Yeah, I hated life back then. You wouldn't have known. I looked happy, I was a happy, fat, drunk guy on the weekends that binge drink at, BNS's and all that sort of stuff. So you wouldn't have known. Well, some people I guess would have. But I was really, really depressed. And I had no identity. So if we go back to the karate thing, so with karate you get a gi, right?
Yeah.
Become part of a community. From there, I joined Army Cadets. You joined Pony Club. So all these things, if you notice, they got a uniform, right? And then from there was a few other things. but then it was I started one of Australia's first ute clubs, B&S Ute Club, and then from there, so I was in CFA as well. Again, another thing with a uniform. Army cadets, another thing with a uniform.
It's all uniform. So there's always an identity.
Always trying to find myself, trying to find an identity from an external source.
Wow.
I couldn't find it within myself, so I'm trying to find it anywhere else, anywhere but myself. And then after the Ute Club, I was going to Thailand back, so that sort of folded. And then I sort of attached to that identity of being the guy who goes to Thailand kickboxing all the time.
Yeah.
And that was great. That was really good. I think... Well, I don't know where I would have been if I hadn't had that. And that was a real funny story. I was probably in the worst place I'd ever been, and I was at the computer one day, and this was at a point where computers really weren't. You had to put the card in to play the game and write,
real old school
DOS, yeah. And I was sitting there, and we were the last person to have a computer out of our whole school, and this computer was stuffed, and I was slapping it to try and get it to work. And there was a magazine back then, International Kickboxer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The real old school ones.
Real old school ones, yeah. And I was sitting at the computer and I slapped the computer and this magazine. And I was literally sitting there thinking, I wish I could just piss off and go train martial arts somewhere full time. You know, I'm freaking hate life. And I slapped the computer, the magazine fell off, and on the back page it said, train like a Thai, fight like a Thai.
Oh, there you go.
And I was like, what is this? And 3 weeks later I was in Thailand. On my first stint, did 3 months just training, just flat out twice a day. Stayed actually at a camp, which was cool. I hardly ever left. Was just dedicated to that. And then I did that for ages. Kept coming backwards and forwards. The problem was with that, I always used to say I wish I hadn't found Thailand when I was young, because I was in such excruciating pain when I came home. Because when you're over there, there's no worries, no stress, a totally different person. I'm in a camp full of people that are trying to do the same things I am. And when I come home, all I could think about, it was even worse, all I could think about was how can I get back there? Every single second of every single day, it was excruciating. It was like, how am I going to work enough hours to get back over there next week? How am I going to do
that's a burnout on its own, man.
Absolutely.
Freaking fries you.
Yeah.
Where you're just stuck and you just like, I just need to get out of here. But the problem with that is it's like a band-aid.
Yep.
Like you just bandage it, but the problem you're not fixing, man. The source of the problem's not getting fixed.
That's right.
You're just slapping a bandage on it and you're just leaving it go.
Yep. So I come back from Thailand, and the Ute Club had gone. So I started riding motorbikes, and I met up with this guy in Melbourne, and we started riding together for a little while, and he had this little meetup group he took over a little group called the Wanderers. It was just a meetup group. It wasn't a club or anything like that. So we started riding together for a while, and eventually we just sort of said, hey, do we want to make a social club? So we're one of the first youth clubs, social clubs around, motorbike clubs.
Wow.
And social motorbike clubs weren't really a huge thing at the time.
Yeah, nah.
So we just grew real quick, and it was really cool. I'd always been around bikies. Some of my family had always been around bikies growing up, so I knew how they ran and all that sort of stuff. Deep down, that's what I wanted to be. I was pushing that down. I'm never going to do that. It's not my thing. I know that's
for the identity again.
Yep. And I just thought it was cool. It'd been romanticised to me when I was younger with some of my family members, saying how cool that life is and all this sort of stuff. And I've been riding motorbikes from a pretty young age as well. And eventually we were approached by a couple of the 1% clubs, and they said, we're starting a motorbike club here that's a worldwide club, but we're starting it as our under club. Do you want to be the president of that? And I was like, well, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I asked my guys if they wanted to patch over, and they were like, no. And I was like, cool, we won't. We'll stay here, because we had a real good thing going too. We had a clubhouse out on a 100-acre farm, and it had a huge shed that was full of dirt bikes. We had a stage. We used to get 1% clubs asking to come to our parties, and it was really, really cool. And then about a week later, a few of the boys started messaging me saying, hey, I've been thinking about it.
Yeah.
And you know what? That sounds pretty cool.
Was it the power you reckon they really liked about it, the lifestyle?
We had a couple of meetings about it, and what we found with the social club, there was sort of no consequences. People could come, people could go.
Yeah.
The loyalty was situational.
It's not there.
Yeah. People could come, people could go, whatever. People would stuff up. And if people stuffed up, there's no recourse. we had one member of that club go into a Harley dealership and be like, I'm one of them, like big noting himself and that. But as a social motorbike club, you can't do anything. You just like go and be gone sort of thing. Whereas in a 1% club, there's
loyalty, power.
But there's consequences to acting like an idiot.
Yeah.
And that, so we want a bit more of that. We want a bit more
rush.
Yeah, a bit more loyalty, basically, though, like built-in loyalty. So we stepped up into this MC, and then did that for a couple of years, and then we were all sort of acting a little bit more than what you would in just a motorbike club.
Do you feel like the power gets to us?
Oh, absolutely. So, well, I went in and I said, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to do that.
Because from social club is something.
Yeah.
But then you gone from social to the MC, which is the real 1%.
Well, this was the middle ground. This was just an MC. It wasn't a 1% club yet.
Okay.
And that's where it was, because we were acting like we were in a 1% club.
Wow.
So what had happened was, it was pretty cool. We were actually, when we were in this social motorbike club, we were actually riding with like 5 other social motorbike clubs. It was just every weekend. We'd always end up riding with these other social motorbike clubs from all over Melbourne. And just out of luck, it wasn't organised. There was nothing like that. We all of these other little clubs ended up supporting the same 1% club.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't planned. Yeah, it wasn't coerced. No, nothing. It was just, we were all in the areas where that club were. So then we found ourselves going like on one of the 1% rides, is just going on the ride and seeing the other guys that we always ride with, and we're like, oh, cool. So the club that asked us to step up actually asked all 5 clubs, us social clubs. So we were all talking to each other about it. We're like, should we do it? Should we not? Should we do it? And we're like, well, we will if you will, and all that sort of stuff. So all of the 5 clubs ended up stepping up into this one club. So we'd already been riding together for 2 years.
Must have became a powerful club, man.
Well, just a huge influx straight away.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just like we all didn't know each other. We'd all been riding together and calling each other brother and stuff for 2 years. And now we're all officially under the one patch. It was pretty cool, and everything changed, and it was just tighter. It was good. Look, the real ones stepped up, you know what I mean? And then
that's what we want to believe.
That's right. And then eventually we were doing things that a straight MC shouldn't be doing. And
MC is like
just motorbike club.
Okay.
Yeah. There's no outlaw thing.
But there's more strict rules.
There is. Yeah. Yep. But the 1% club sort of said, if you want to be doing that sort of stuff,
you got to come under us.
You need to step up. Like you're doing 1% stuff now. So, and it was just all at the same sort of time. 1 or 2 of us started stepping up, then 1 or 2 from the other chapter, 1 or 2 from the other chapter, 1 or 2 from the other, and all of a sudden everybody was just sort of stepping up. And that 1% club that we were in ended up just getting a huge influx of people all in one go. But it wasn't all just individuals joining. It were guys that had already been riding together for 2 years. Yeah. So it was an unusual situation that was, even looking back now, it's pretty amazing to have been a part of it. Wow. It was pretty cool. And at that point, I thought I'd found my absolute everything and be all and everything. All my mental issues went away. All of a sudden, I had something bigger than myself. So I had a sense of meaning and purpose. I dedicated my life to doing club stuff. I had connection, no matter where I went, what I did.
Oh, yeah.
The club was there.
Power was there.
Yep.
He's the 1%er.
Yeah.
Big ball game. Wherever you go, gym, restaurants, whatever you do.
Yep. Had an identity. So literally ticked all of the mental health boxes. Yeah.
What do you feel like? Was it when the crime started to happen, you felt like, now things are starting to get out of control?
Well, the thing is, like, you don't have to do it. You don't at all. No one makes you do anything. It's just, for me, it was just one step. So I had that talk. I was like, look, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just here to ride bikes and party. That's it. But then eventually, you're talking to people and you're like, oh, yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
And then next
minute, you can.
Yeah. Well, and then the next minute you take another little step.
Yep.
And you take another little step and you take another little step. And then after all these little steps, you look behind you and you're actually doing a lot of things that you said you'd never do before. And does it all just become the normal?
That's how it is. because you know you can, and you know you have the backup
Yeah.
because you got power behind you.
Yeah.
It's very fascinating. And then where did the journey go from there?
I got injured. So, so my everything sort of flipped on its head. And I got injured at work. I did 5 discs in my back. And but I will say this, my journey through the club life is different than a lot of other people. I speak pretty highly about the club because of things that happened to me and the support that I got for them, and the way I left and everything was great. Everybody was really good, really supportive. So I always like to say I'm not encouraging anybody to go out and join a motorbike club, as my experience was different than most. There's not many people who, get out of it and go through it like I did. Okay.
Was it the time period as well? I mean, now it's different to what it was, I guess, how they're set up.
But that changes periodically as well. We used to get told, because everyone sort of said we were like the old school style bikers. We loved riding. We were all sort of country boys and stuff at the time as well. So all the older heads always used to say to us, "You boys joined the club in the wrong era." They goes, "You guys should have been in 10 years ago. Then you would have loved it, But and then the years that I was in are totally different than they are now.
You'd be saying the same now to those young guys, right?
Exactly
So
right.
it just goes the same. It goes in circles, right? Yeah.
Yep, exactly right. So I got injured and I did the 5 discs in my back, and then karma got me. 6 weeks later, I was doing something that I shouldn't have been doing.
There you go.
And
that's what it always leads to, man.
Yeah, and
Wrestling Indian kids, was it?
not yet. And I smashed my hip to pieces. So I needed a hip reconstruction, and so all of a sudden they're like, "You'll never work again. You'll never lift over 2 kilos again. You'll never ride your Harley again. You'll never do all these things." And I was like, "All I am is a motorbike rider who lifts weights and does kickboxing. That's all I am." And all of a sudden now I can't do any of these things again. It's like, well, I'm in the perfect place to party, so that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
So when I look back, I was, you can say, yes, I was partying. I would look at it as more spiraling than anything. I just partied really, really hard. And
Do you get this out of frustration and anger?
I thought it was cool.
How
all
old
of
were
a
you
sudden
then?
I was off work.
Yeah, how old were you then?
32.
Oh, you were going hard.
Sort of that.
Yeah, you were
hard.
going hard.
I was
Yeah,
real hard. Yeah.
You feel invincible, right?
Yeah.
When I
100%.
first started, I was partying like down the clubhouse. Like it would have been 4 days a week, easy. Yeah.
So you were into it.
I was 24/7.
Do you reckon you started adapting addictions from there?
That's always a tough question for me to answer because I don't feel like I was addicted. I thought I was just partying 24/7
That's
for the
it.
fun.
Wow.
Because I never went, I'm going to stop doing drugs. So what happened is I got injured. I went through a very toxic relationship, very toxic. It was a crazy story.
Marriage or
in
just a
itself.
relationship?
Just relationship,
Yeah.
yeah. And it was, very toxic. And then my brother died, who was also in the club as well. So
Rest. I hope he's resting, peacefully.
he went out in the most happiest time of his life.
Wow.
In the best space of his life.
Wow,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. So he went really well. We could all only be so lucky, to be
Wow.
honest. Yeah. He went out while he was on top. So I take that to heart. That helped me because he really did. He went out at the peak of his life.
Wow.
So and he went peaceful in his sleep, and we're the same age. Peaceful in his sleep at the top of his happiness.
You know what? That death is so peaceful.
Yep.
You're sleeping and you don't feel any pain.
Yep.
It's special death.
Yep. Absolutely.
How much did that impact you at the time?
That hurt. I'd already been in therapy for about a year, I guess. And sometime for my first 2 years, I was in therapy twice a week. It was pretty bad. Work cover.
Wow.
Work cover when you're a bit loose. You better go.
100%. And you're not working.
Yeah.
You're not getting to do what you want to do now.
Yeah.
You're in a bad place, man.
Yep. So work cover sent me to see a psychologist. Best thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah.
And so I had all this sort of stuff happen in a short succession of time. And so the psychologist was great. She was preparing me for certain stages. Everyone's got patterns of behaviour, and stuff. So she had me dead to rights straight away. She knew what to work on, and every time something happened, she's like, "I've been preparing you for this," And
Smart lady.
Yeah, absolutely, saved my life for sure. And I ended up seeing her for sometimes twice a week for the first 2 years, and then nearly for 6 years straight, at least weekly. She was amazing. And during all this time, after all this started happening, right before my brother passed, I'd gone back and started studying counselling. I've already been doing therapy for a while, so
That's pretty interesting from that life to counselling. Very fascinating.
Always been good with the mental stuff because I'd always had pretty toxic girlfriends, so I used to study. To try and fix them. You know what I mean? I'd be like, "What is wrong with you?" So I started studying personality disorders and all that to try and help them.
You do have the eyes and the look, man. So you're picking up some women, surely. You know what I mean? You're picking up all my man was a model in his days.
When I was in the club, I was 163 kilos.
Oh.
I was huge.
You're a big boy.
That's heavy, yeah.
That's not heavy. That's a fat boy.
I was round. My whole face was round.
Do you think it was all the alcohol?
You know what? I was doing that much gear. I wasn't drinking that much, to be honest.
Wow.
Yeah, I just love to eat. I got told early on. We used to like to party for days and days and days. Be like, when you got to eat, to stay
keep going.
energized. So that's what I did, and I loved eating. That was a massive coping skill for me.
You know what? A lot of people have that problem.
Yeah.
I even have that problem. When I stress, I eat.
Yeah, it's still a massive problem for me now. So
I wonder David, can we check what's that called? I really want to find out what the name of it. It's an eating disorder, isn't it?
Well, like overeating, you mean, or
No, when you stress or you're depressed, you start to eat.
emotionally eating.
emotional eating? Yeah.
Holy crap, man. It's a serious thing.
It's huge. The food noise.
Oh, you mean comfort eating, like
yeah.
comfort
It's
eating,
like-
emotional eating. Yeah.
It's like, when someone's depressed, they're drinking alcohol.
Sure.
Some people have an eating disorder. They just can't stop eating.
Yeah, you can't regulate your emotions, so you eat to try and do that.
Wow.
Yeah, same as smoking. It's the same as all that. Well, except for the nicotine. But yeah, it's all similar to that.
How much did the toxic relationship set you back in life? Mentally.
Now, looking back, it was probably the single best thing that happened to me.
Wow.
Yeah, broke me. Absolutely broke me. After that and all the other things together, I essentially had what I would call a nervous breakdown. I couldn't leave the house. Couldn't do anything. I was just everything had been ripped apart. I didn't know who I was. Didn't know where I was going. I didn't know anything about myself.
Were you
And-
disconnected from the 1% at this point?
No, I was still in.
Still in there?
Yep.
But life was just crumbling, man.
Yep.
Loss of your brother.
Yep. But the club was great. I couldn't.
They would have had you back there, man.
They sent somebody around to my house every single day to check on me.
See that?
When I did my hip and my back injury, I was in hospital for a long time. There was a brother sitting next to me the whole time I was in hospital. I couldn't walk for a year, so this leg I was on every 3 months I was allowed like another 10% of weight bearing on the leg, and so I couldn't drive for a year. And the club would give me someone every week to come pick me up and take me and
Wow.
help me do all my stuff. And
See, that's the good side that not much people see.
really is. And I talk openly about that stuff, and not to encourage people to go, but just be like, this is the stuff you don't see. Motorcycle clubs back in the day were just a men's shed. That's what they were.
So just hang around, have a few beers and just relax.
Yep.
And
Support each other by
Yeah.
a world that hates you.
and there's crime everywhere.
Yep.
You can have crime in religion.
Yep.
And religion's supposed to be peaceful.
Yeah.
But there's violence in there.
Yep.
So there's violence everywhere.
The majority of people in clubs are normal 9 to 5
Yeah,
day
yeah.
guys that like to go to work.
You're right.
That don't do anything.
just
There's
like
a
to hang
couple in
around.
every group that do stuff, and they're the ones that make the news.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they don't talk about all the other guys that live that family life, going to work at 9 to 5 or 10 hours, whatever they're doing.
You miss your brother?
I do. Yeah. Actually, so I've got him on my screensavers on my phone.
Wow.
And it's funny, you scroll past all the time and you don't notice. But yesterday I did. I was like, every time something good happens, I'm like, damn, bro, I wish you were here. Because I know that he'd be celebrating in this success with me.
Yeah.
And I know that he would have been a part of it. We were really close. Yeah, so I'm like, we did everything together. Like every hobby that we had, we did every hobby together the whole time.
Death is the ultimate heartbreak.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Destroys everything, man.
Yeah.
Once death comes,
And that's why I don't look at what I'm missing out on by not having him here.
Yeah.
I look at the life that he ended it on.
yeah.
That's what I choose to focus on. I'm like, oh, let's celebrate the shit out of that.
What an amazing death, though.
Because that was cool. So good.
Just in bed.
Yep.
Wow.
So he was in a bad way when we were growing up as well. He was so he wasn't my real brother, but not by blood anyway. He went missing from his backyard, and at 6 months old, and he crawled under the fence into my sandpit at 6 months old.
What a blessing that is, though.
And they found us both playing in the sandpit.
That's it.
And from then on, so we've known each other since we were 6 months old. You know, we did everything together.
That's a blessing, though. That's special.
Absolutely.
Like, real special.
Yeah, yeah. And he suffered from depression and a few other things, same as what I did. And what was I? I think I was a prospect at the time, maybe a probate, and he was in a pretty bad way. And he'd never been down the club or anything. That was not his sort of scene. And I went and basically grabbed him by the ear and dragged him out of the house and took him down to the clubhouse once. And I was worried about, what he was going to do alone. He lived out in the middle of the bush by himself, with a heap of cats and stuff. And
That's how some people find peace, man.
absolutely, yeah.
I think being lonely sometimes is good.
Oh yeah, people give self-isolating a bad rap. If you're doing it as a way of healing, it's great.
Yeah.
Learning to sit with yourself, it's an awesome thing.
It's dangerous when you're depressed, though.
Yeah, but that's the thing. So you've got the stress curve. If you sit in the comfort zone too long, you slide back down the curve into depression. You go growth zone, learning zone. And if you stay there too long, well, then you burn out. Too much anxiety.
Yeah.
But if you go back to the comfort zone and then you go back again, well, then you slide down that slope into complacency and, you're not achieving anything. So you slowly slip down into depression. And that's sort of where he was. And I dragged him down the clubhouse, and it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. We're sitting there and there's this knock on the door. The light comes on and we look and there's 3 girls at the front door. And we're like, we don't know these girls. But we're like, what do you want? And they're like, oh, we heard you had a stripper pole in here. We're like, yeah, we do. And they're like, well, we're thinking about trying out to be strippers. Do you mind if we come and try out on the pole? And we were all like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, why not?
As if we'd say no.
Yeah.
So these girls were up there practicing, stripping and that. And my brother goes, does this happen all the time? I was like, every weekend, bro.
Wow.
Never happened before.
Grab him in there.
And I was like, you've got to hang out here, right? And they were all stunners too. So, but my brother didn't get into the party like I did. He was pretty straight when it come to that. But anyway, I was like, I've got to go. I'm leaving. And some of the other boys come over, and my brother didn't have any friends or anything like that. All these boys come over and grabbed him. And they're like, he's not fucking going anywhere.
That's it.
They're like, he's staying with us.
You're hostage now.
And I was like, do you want to stay or do you want to come home with me? And he's like, no, I'll stay. It's like, no worries. Like 2 days later, he shows up at my front door, hasn't slept. Now he doesn't get on the gear or anything. So he was running on pure like excitement and fun. And he's like, that's the coolest thing that has ever happened to me. And I said, what did you get up to? And he's like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And I was like,
no comment on
that. I
that.
was like, all right, you've learned.
Wow.
And he's like, I'll be down next week. And he never missed a day. Yeah, never missed a session, got his colours. We got him a motorbike because he wasn't working, couldn't get a loan and all that. So we worked out a way to get him a bike. And then he started getting a job.
Wow.
Finally held down a job for the first time in his life. Then he met a missus who was like just a great heart. She was real attractive as well. He'd never had like the full combination of that before in his life, like all these things really happening for him. And then he passed away in his sleep.
He's a good man, bros.
Yeah.
He's a good man.
Yeah.
It's like I say, man, death is just I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it. David, do you like it? It's a shit feeling, especially when you lose a loved one, like a really close person. You know,
Yeah.
it's just a never-ending pain. It's just aching.
Yeah.
Like it. How are you now, in life now? Do you feel like you found the peace? Have you found your identity?
Definitely. Oh, identity, yes. Peace, no. Definitely not. That's probably one of my biggest problems right
What is
now.
it? What's disturbing the peace? Is it just
That's tough. I like achieving and I like doing, and that's always a massive thing for me. If I keep telling myself, you know, you're not a shark, you're not going to die if you stop, you know. But I always like to keep pushing and trying to get things done. So for me, it's always about what's coming next, what's going next. It's like there's a quote about money saying if you're always chasing money, money's a number. Numbers never end,
Yeah.
so you're never going to be happy, right? I sort of feel like that in life. I wish that I could just be like, yep, I'm happy right now in the moment, and then I do that. I'll go sit by the river, do a bit of gold panning, you know, watch the dog run around. I wonder what I could be doing now.
yeah?
And I'm like, damn it.
Back to it.
That lasted for a couple of hours. So I really, really wish that I could be happy just in the now. So that's something that I'm always working on in myself.
I was actually talking to someone today at the gym about that, and he's like, in order to succeed, you have to sacrifice.
Yeah.
And that's the sacrifice.
Yeah.
You have to sacrifice a bit of your happiness in order to succeed to that level.
Yep. So back in my younger days, I always attached a bit of identity and image to having money. Always, you know, if the newer car came out, that's what I had. If, you know, I had all the bling on every finger, had the big gold
Nice,
pendant to the
sexy
club
chain.
logo and all
Yeah.
that sort of stuff, big fat chains and all of that. And somewhere along the line, I sort of went, but needing that amount of money to sustain a lifestyle it's stressful,
Yeah.
you know? So
And it doesn't bring happiness, man.
no, not at all. So over the last couple of years, I've been trying to think. I always wanted to be rich. I always wanted 20 houses, and that was my thing, just so I could, you know, retire early and stuff. I don't think I could ever retire early. I'd always be doing something. But of the last couple of years, I'm like, you know what? I'm getting pretty comfortable. Do I really need to work this hard?
Yeah.
Do I really need? But then it's like, what do you do without it?
So you're almost at a level of being content, but you're still a bit.
But still not. It's like, what does it look like that? So it's sort of like we've got to back off doing that to find out what's there now.
It's like getting $1 million. I was like, oh, I want 2 million.
Yeah.
3 million, 4 million, 5 million.
Yep.
It's never ending.
Yep. So now I could quite easily keep working really hard, get the 20 houses. I'm in a position to run with that right now. But these days, I'm like, that's not where I'm at. I'm like, I would much prefer to have a little farm with a little tractor, pottering around a couple of acres.
Coffee in the morning.
That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. I want to buy a little Kubota tractor and potter around on the farm, build my thing. That's it. And that would have me content. So the goal right now is working towards that, which is funny because my missus has a farm in Thailand. So, and it's a lot cheaper to retire there.
Yeah, than here.
That's a possibility right now. And it's sort of like, it's so hot.
Yeah, it
It
is.
is so hot.
Yeah. Weather's crazy there.
It is. It's really
Up,
crazy.
up, down, but it's freaking wild, man.
Yeah,
But life is so cheap.
it is.
You know, there's so many people that are buying homes for like 250,000 on US, but they're mansions.
Yep, absolutely.
You can't even get that in Meadow Heights. You know what I mean?
Yep. And it is so cheap, and it's different, right? So I'll be riding around there. We've got a clapped out scooter. This thing's about 30 years old. It is screwed. You nearly have to like pedal along with it just to get it to take off. And I'll be wearing my 30-cent tie shorts that are paper thin, you know, with a singlet that's not worth anything. And I'll be happy as just cruising around, going around the lake, you know,
Just a
looking
different-
at everything, just absolutely cruising, not a worry in the world.
You reckon that's the future where you move there eventually?
I don't know. There's a few possibilities that I'm sort of throwing up in the air. At the moment, it's move over there, get a little kickboxing gym.
Yeah.
I think it'd be great to have kids running around in that environment. You know, so good. Or keep doing what I'm doing here. I would always keep what I'm doing here. Though.
Yeah.
I love what we do here every day.
Helping a lot of people, man. I see a lot of your posts, a lot of work you do. It's phenomenal. And the people you help are really struggling, man.
Yeah.
They got some serious battles. Some of the
Absolutely.
people you sent me, Oh,
Yeah. Well, that's why it was always a passion of mine to do these free community programs. So, as we were talking about before, about how important exercise is for mental health and connection, that's why I was like, you know what? So, the way we sort of started, I was doing counselling, just pure abuse counselling. I was only doing counselling for people that have been through abusive relationships. And then I had a little gym studio set up where I was teaching people kickboxing. And eventually, people were saying to me, can you work with my kids? They went through this relationship as well. And I was like, I don't really want to work with kids. And they were like, no, come on, you don't work with the kids. And I said, well, if I do that, I can't work with you. It's up, you could have to choose. And they were like, oh, okay, can you work with my kids? Within opening, within 3 months, I had like 12 kids that I was working with.
wow.
And they all had the same problem. None of them were engaged at school. And they were all telling me every session they had no friends, they were lonely and all this. And I was like, okay. The other thing that they were doing is, during these counselling sessions, they were all like, man, looking up here, climbing over the back of the chair, looking at stuff. And I was like, I'm just not getting anywhere with these kids, like talking to them like this. So I was like, do you want to go in the next room and do some boxing? Yeah, of course. My kid doesn't want to do that.
Bang.
So I take him in there and I put it to, I explain it like this. You've got a football coach. You run on the field, you do one session, that guy's your stepdad, he's your life coach, he's everything. A counsellor, it might take you 8, 12 sessions to get a really good rapport to start working with, but a coach is instant. Okay, you put all your trust in a coach straight away. For some reason, so different.
You're handing over your life pretty much like this.
Yep. So I'd get them on the pads. Within 30, 40 seconds, we're talking. You know, we're talking. And if they're not talking, or they're getting angry.
Yeah.
And then they're trying to hit me, like, because they've got all this pent-up aggression, they're trying to pin it to me, you know, or they start crying or like this. So I started doing counselling sessions. I called it exercise psychotherapy. So I was doing counselling sessions with boxing and weights, and that worked really, really well. And eventually I started a men's group, and that was as much as for me as it was for everybody else. The whole thing was we all just meet up and train. And if anybody's got any questions about trauma, anything like that, I'll answer them. We'll unpack something, and if things start getting too much, go get that smash ball and try and break it.
Yeah.
And eventually that just kept growing and growing. And then so I started on a football oval, then a single car garage, then a 3.5 garage. Now I've got a gym, and that all happened so we're just coming up to 5 years we've been around now.
How does it make you feel helping these
It's
people?
awesome. So every single day that I'm stressed, we'll have one of the groups. Like last night, the group was at capacity. We were full last night. The whole gym was full. And because it's not a gym, it's a mental health service, everybody hangs back and talks.
They're having chats.
They're chatting. They're all there for the same goals. They're all doing stuff. Everyone's laughing. And it's not the usual surface level shit you get in a normal gym.
No,
you know?
it's real deal, man.
People are talking like they're best mates, you know? And we've got people that have been here since we opened. They're still there. And
they're all fighting wars, serious wars.
Yeah, and they're helping support the other ones that have just started, and everybody's giving each other advice. Everybody's been doing work on themselves. Everybody's been doing, the real solid stuff, and everybody's helping each other. And sometimes I just sit back and I'm just like, holy shit, this is cool. This is really, really cool. And that gets me. I think it was like 3 weeks ago, I did a post on how grateful I am. I went home and I was like, tonight hit me hard.
Should be proud of yourself,
I was
man.
like, that touched me.
It's marvelous what you do. I always see it constantly, seeing all the posts. It's amazing, especially the network you have around you, man. Like Dennis and stuff, they do some fabulous work, man.
Yeah, man, and you've got to build that group of people around you.
It's a brotherhood.
Jacob was up at, I think it was like 5:30 this morning, already messaging on our little group chat that we've got. He's like, let's get them wins, boys. And Dennis is straight away, let's go get the day.
Yeah.
Every morning. I know that there's going to be messages from them like saying, let's go get it.
And that energy is amazing.
Yeah.
Because 5 of you guys might be depressed and shit, but one person can enlighten that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Light up that fire and it's on.
Yeah. And I joke about this all the time, but Dennis, I called him one day, we had like a photo thing going on, and he called me and he's like, bro, if you come with fucking lint on your shirt, and he's like, do your hair, you know. He's like, you got to look good, you know.
Yeah.
So because of my image and like my body image issues and stuff like that, I never used to worry about fashion and things like that. I was a full country boy that used to go to B&S ute shows, you know, getting covered in food dye and just making a mess out of myself.
care.
So I never really had an eye for that sort of stuff. And you want mates that are going to level you up. So I joke about it now, but I'm half serious. Whenever I go somewhere, I'm like, I have to go get a haircut today
And look fresh.
because I don't want Dennis to yell at me.
Yeah. How good is that though?
Yeah, I
How
say it all the
important-
time, and there's a like 50% joke, 50% truth.
It's very important, the circle and environment you have.
Yeah.
People don't realise it, man.
No.
It's very important.
Yeah.
It shapes who you are.
Absolutely, it does. That age-old saying: if you look around a group and you see 5 idiots, there's a good chance that you're the 6th.
I like that one. I like that one. That's very true.
Yep.
It's very true. Life is a journey, man.
Yep.
Full of ups and downs, and it's full of surprises.
Yeah.
If you look back at yourself, where you were, where you are.
Yeah. It's like with the friends thing. My friends back then, not that they didn't know any better. You know, you've got them guys that are like, come on, one more beer, come on, one more beer. And I'm like, look, I've just come back from Thailand. I've decided I'm not drinking anymore. I don't want to drink. And they're like, nah, come on, have some with the boys. Look, I'm not drinking. And that they're not your mates. They're trying to encourage you to do shit that's wrong for you, that's going to affect you negatively. You're their entertainment. That's what it is.
That's right.
If I said that to Dennis or Jacob, they'd be like, pull your head in.
Yeah.
You know, that's not where you're going. That's not where you're headed.
You're very true. Anyone tells you to do wrong is not a true mate.
Yeah.
Because they're only thinking about themselves and they want to have a laugh in that moment.
Yeah.
But it can end into tragedy, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
You become an addict all of a sudden and your whole life's gone.
Yeah.
You know? And like I say, man, life is a journey full of surprises.
Yeah.
And it's a blessing. Sometimes people say, oh, life is shit. Life isn't really shit, man. It's only shit if you see it as such.
That's right. The red car theory. If you talk about going to buy a red car, every second car you see on the road will be red. You know, if you're watching, go look that up. The red car theory. It's a proper thing.
It's manifestation, right?
Can you pull that up?
It's just manifesting what you're.
It's what you'll focus on.
Yeah.
That's where your focus is. Oh, that's a cool little story from childhood. Well, it's not a cool little story from childhood, but I always had this body image that I was big and fat as a kid because people in my family used to laugh and joke, like Dutch. Oh yeah, putting on weight. Yeah, you know,
Are you full Dutch or half-half?
Half-half.
Half-half.
Yep. And they'd be like grabbing fat and that.
Yeah.
And I always thought that I thought that I was huge. I always thought that I was huge. I recently got sent some photos of me when I was a kid. I wasn't big at all. But I thought I was. So I focused on trying not to be fat with extreme dieting. It gave me body image issues and all that stuff. You know what it did? It made me fat.
Yeah.
Because you do what you're focused on. So I was so focused on being fat that I got fat.
Yeah.
It goes two ways. You either get that sort of way or you go anorexia, bulimia, all that sort of stuff.
Your life is the colour of your thoughts.
Exactly right. Yep.
If you see it as dark and black, it's going to be dark and black, man.
Yep.
And that's why you got to stay positive for everything.
A big piece of advice that I give everybody that come to my groups, if they're ever stressed, action cancels stress. But if you're always going through something and you're massively stressed, you need to ask yourself, what can you do to get out of this situation? What is the answer to this problem?
That's very nice. Yeah.
If you start looking for the opportunity, for the solution to every problem, you no longer sit in the problem and feel shit about it. As if you're making yourself bigger than the problem. So what can you do right now? What's the answer to this problem? Changes your whole perspective. Because now you've got to find the answer, which means you're no longer sitting there just stressing about this problem that's bothering you. You're going to do something about it, which is the action.
Wow, that's a good way of looking at it, man.
It's all about perceptions and reframing. That's all it is, yeah. Always
Perception
reframing.
is very underrated. People don't realise the power of it.
Yeah.
It drives you it makes you see the world in a different way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. You got to focus on what you want. If you focus on what you don't want, that's what you're going to get. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Is that it there? Red car theory?
Red car theory in trading. The red car theory suggests that once you notice something specific, like a red car, you start seeing it everywhere. It is often used to explain the phenomenon of selective attention.
Wow.
That'd be like selective hearing. I didn't hear you tell me to put that bin out.
Unless you become aware of something, you tend to notice more frequently.
Yeah.
Wow.
You end up,
Look at this.
You go in the direction you're looking. Even though you want to do better in life, if you're only looking at all the bad stuff that's happening, that's the direction you're going. Half my job as a counsellor is to shift your perspective from looking at that, so it's forward focused or strength based.
Bloody hell,
coaching.
that's good.
It's coming forward. Half my job is to stop you looking there and get you looking there.
That's good. I never thought of it that way.
Yep. I'll just reiterate that all the time.
Wow.
So you've told me this story that you've been complaining about like 3 times now. What are you going to do about it? That's a good question. I might do this, I might do that. But, you know, the problem is like this. Okay, that's great. But what are you going to do about that now? And it just becomes a pattern. You've got to reiterate it. You've got to break that. You've got to build those neuro pathways in your brain. So the neuro pathways, this is cool. I like explaining things like a bogan so people can understand it. So if you've got a silver motorbike downstairs, you ride?
Yeah.
Is that yours?
No, that's my mate's.
Oh,
yeah.
So if you've got a motorbike track, it goes around and round and round one way, right? So the grooves and the camber turns one way. So you're going around that way, the tyres fit bang into that groove, it's all smooth, it's all great. Then what happens is we're like, okay, you're focusing on this negative. You're going around in circles, the grooves are fitting, that's what you know, that's your normal, that's fantastic. I'm like, okay, now focus on the problem. Your tyres don't fit in those grooves anymore because you're going the opposite way. All of a sudden, that's a rocky ride.
Become uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable. So you've got to get comfortable sitting in the uncomfortable.
Wow.
All right. So you keep going around and round. Eventually, you're going to fall off a couple of times. It's a pretty rough ride. But eventually, the ruts in the dirt, the camber will start changing and the grooves will start turning the other way. And now the tyres on the motorbike will fit into those grooves properly. And eventually, that's your new normal. Thinking positively is your new normal.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Troy, it's an absolute pleasure to have you. I'm very grateful. You know, when I first messaged you, what did you think of me when I first messaged you? Honestly, you're like, who's this bloody Arab, huh?
So I don't do LinkedIn. I don't know how long you even sent that message for. Because I struggle with LinkedIn.
It was meant to be.
It seems false to me. You know, somebody so and so celebrates a new position. Hey, congratulations. None of you care. We're all trying to get each other seen and that. Like it is just super fake to me. So I don't give it much attention. I go on there and I post something and I leave. Like that's all I do. I don't engage in all the falsity. I hate it. But then, and my inbox is full of like people trying to say, you know, do you want to get a degree in, what is it, the MBA and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, the sponsors.
And just flat out, it's all full of people just trying to market themselves.
You just seen Ahmad Mullis, like, who's this guy?
And I was like, I'll click on that one. And I had a quick look and I was like, what's this guy about? And I followed the link there to your YouTube.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, this dude's got some professional stuff going on.
I love it.
And then I saw all the, like, so you had a couple of people on that were like champion boxers and stuff like that. And I was like, shit, I like the way you do your podcast.
Original, man.
Yeah.
No one does it anymore.
And then I was looking at the variety of guests you have on. And I was like, this is cool.
Yeah. Mixture.
Yeah.
Some people have a specific podcast about science.
Yeah.
Mine's about everything, man.
Yeah.
I want to hear everyone's story. I want educators, and it's a journey, man. It's a journey. People are learning. I swear to you, people are learning, man. I get messages every day. It's like, I didn't know that, man. I was like, But
see, you're pivoting. Like you're from this, you know, 100,000 subscribers, and you're pivoting into this now.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about. It's about changing that direction and going where you're focused, because you can do that. Other people would have lost that channel and gone, that's it, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, I've had enough. I'm going into depression and stuff like that. You've just gone, you know what, I'm going to up it again.
Yeah.
And
I just want one day when I die, be remembered as a good person.
Yeah.
Help people.
Yeah.
That's it, man. You don't take anything else, man. No money, no belts, no world championships. No one cares about that shit, man.
Yeah.
But what you've done, great for people, remains.
Cheers.
But it's an absolute pleasure. It was a pleasure to sit down with you, and I can't wait to move forward and learn more about you and work with you more. And bring me more crazy people on there, you know.
I've definitely got a heap of them for you.
Yeah, oh, thank you so much for driving down and joining me here today. If you have anything you want to say to listeners, you're welcome to.
If you want to check out some of my stuff, and
Yep.
so it'll be Troy Koerntjes or the Mental Health Militia or Complete Health Geelong on Facebook, YouTube,
Yep.
Instagram. And my TikTok's where I put all the trauma stuff pretty much,
Yep.
and all the reels, yeah. So there's different content on all the pages. Motorbike stuff, free program. So
Yep.
motorbike stuff on the Mental Health Militia, trauma, free programs, all of that sort of stuff on Complete Health Geelong. All stuff just me, basically.
Yeah.
all a mix of all of it is on the Troy page, yeah.
Troy, absolute pleasure, my man. Thank you so much
Thanks
for
for having
coming
me.
on. You're the man. How was that, my man?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah?
I feel like we could have sat here for ages.
Can you grab just a thumbnail of him, Davey?